Hey guys, Russ here. Welcome back to another great video about the app Ovation. Today we're going to learn how to create assignments for our students. So without any further ado, let's sign in and make it happen. And here we are. We're in the back end, if you will, of Ovation where we can make assignments for our students and push them out. Now, I know you see this button right here, the assignment button. So of course, that's the one you want to pick, right? But that is for the student. So if we were a student in the class, our assignment, we could find them in there. What we want to do is click organization. And if you scroll down, there's the word assignments again. Now this is where you build assignments. So let's go in here. There we go. Now we're going to build an assignment from here. So simply click the create assignment button and let's just give it a name. Let's call it YouTube test because we're on YouTube, right? This is only a test. So you could put things in here like what the assignment is about. You can put things in here like things you need the students to know or whatnot. Set the date. Let's set the date for a week from now. Enter. Let's go to a one-on-one conversation, a first date group conversation. There's many things you could pick here to assign to your students. I'm just going to pick a one-on-one conversation and I'm going to click next. And now we can pick where we want the student to have the experience. Do we want them to choose for themselves? Do we want them to be able to pick where their scenario will be held, or do we want to pick it for them? For example, do we want it to be kind of laid back and kind of chill? Pick the mountain lodge. Do we want it to be a little bit more intimidating? Maybe a boardroom. Do we want it to be a lot more intimidating? Maybe your office, right? You can make it as friendly or as intimidating as you like. I personally am going to pick the boardroom because I think that's a good place to have a meeting. Now here we can set some rules. Required submissions. I require you to submit at least one submission. Can submit more than required. Can the student do 2 or 3 submissions? Sure, why not? You may want to set that to no in case you have a student who's really keen, submits 10 different assignments for the same thing. That would be impossible to grade. So maybe pick no for that. Can submit after due date. No, of course I never let students submit after the due date because I start grading at that time and then it makes things a little bit more complicated. Can discard attempts. I always say yes for this, so I want the student to do their best. I want them to be able to practice a few times, try a few things, and discard. You can set that to no if you like, if you want them to just have one shot at it. Scenario locked. Basically that means can the student change anything about the scenario? So let's read about it real quick. If yes, assigned members will not be able to change any settings related to the scenario. So they're kind of stuck with what you've given them, which is probably what you want anyway. Disable training. Training is when a student or you are in a scenario and the AI is giving you feedback in real time. Say, for example, you're speaking too fast, speaking too slow, or maybe you're being monotonous, or maybe you're using a lot of filler words like and the AI will let you know and hopefully correct you in real time. You can disable that if you like. You'd have to click yes to disable. Hide AI generated feedback scores. So at the end of the scenario, the student will get feedback scores, and so will you. They'll be sent to you as well, so you can grade your student. I don't hide them. I let the student see them at the end to see how they did, just in case they want to do another repeat assignment. Hide scenario modifiers. Scenario modifiers are the things that, well, let's just read it real quick. I don't want to say the wrong thing. If yes, assigned members will not be able to view scenario modifiers added to the scenario. Right, so we're going to make what are called modifiers here in a few minutes. Basically, we're going to modify the AI. We're going to make the AI what we want it to be and what we want the students to use. So you can tell them what the modifiers are by saying no, so the students will know that, hey, your AI is going to be an expert in this and it's going to speak like this, and those kind of things. I always let them see it. Or you can put yes, hide them if you don't want them to see it. Avatar sex. Do you want the avatar to be male or female, or do you want the computer to just choose one? I usually just leave it at random. Who starts? Either the student will speak first or the student will listen first. I'm going to put speak first because I want the student to initiate the conversation. Now here is where the fun begins. Scenario modifiers. So what do we want this scenario to be? So let's click edit and we're going to add a scenario modifier. This is where we tell the AI what the AI is. Now, I always do this one. So who are you? Or who am I should say, because we're doing it for the AI. You are an expert in Charles Dickens. You are an expert on the novel Tale of Two Cities. So that's essentially who the AI is. Let's add another scenario modifier. Let's call it accent. And let's say accent. Now let's also say you will have a strong British accent. And let's make character. You will be friendly and excited. You will speak clearly and calmly. There. So these are some scenario modifiers. Now you can see that you could do a lot with this. You don't have to just set the character of the AI. You could tell the AI all bunch of different things to avoid, things to definitely go into, and such things like that. I'm going to leave it at that because I think you get the idea of the kind of things you could do to modify the AI. Finish and click next. Now these are the factors that are built into the spider web diagram. At the end of the scenario, the student will see a spider web chart, which is essentially a pentagon, and that each corner of the pentagon, there'll be clarity, engagement, respect, listening, and relevance. You can change these here if you like for the student to be graded on something slightly different. That's up to you, but I'm going to leave them as the default. Now, assigning it to a student. Normally, if you had a class of students, they would be listed here and you would just pick them. Since I don't have a list of students at this time, I'm just going to pick myself and assign it to myself. And notify members via email. So you could click that if you want the members, your students, to know that they have an assignment ready to go. You might want to do that for your students. And assign. And one last time, you can look it all over. This is who it's assigned to. And we're good. All right, so now we're going to head into VR and we're going to do the scenario, show you what it looks like, and then we're going to come back here and we're going to take a look at the what we see as a faculty member on the other side once a scenario has been completed. All right, guys, here we are in the Ovation VR app, and I'm going to show you the scenario that we created for our students. And here it is right here. I know this is the assignment that's assigned to me because it has a due date flag right here, which is very, very, very convenient. So let's get to work on this right now. So there it is, our YouTube test. It's assigned to me. It's due on this date. Now I could skip it and I could go do some practice if I wanted to, or I could jump right into the assignment. So click it to highlight it and select assignment. This is only a test. So that's the description we wrote earlier. Continue. Notice we can't change anything here. All we can do is click on the word boardroom down here or back to move forward to the assignment because we didn't allow the student to pick their scenario, their venue. We picked it for them. Let's go in. Here we go. So now all of our scenario modifiers are hidden, so the student will be hopefully pleasantly surprised. If they click on this button, they'll see they can't do anything as we've locked it. They can't make any changes. All they can really do is hit back or continue. So let's hit continue. They can modify their name if they like. They can turn off training if they don't want it. Remember, training is when the little warnings pop up if you're speaking too fast or whatnot. They can take a look at what they're going to be graded on, relevance, clarity, etc. So they can know that ahead of time. They can change the language, but I'm a native English speaker, so I'm going to leave it at English. Captions enabled. They can turn off the avatar's words. If they don't want to see or read what the avatar is saying, they can just turn it off. They can use manual or auto mode. I'm going to leave it in auto because it's more realistic and more immersive. Manual, you'll have to hit buttons when you're done speaking. You'll have to hit a send button. And if you want to interrupt the AI, you'll have to hit interrupt. So I'd rather avoid that because it's not as much fun. So I'm ready. I'm going to start the assessment. Hi there, I'm here for my assessment, and I'm not really sure what my assessment's about. Can you tell me?
Oh, hello there. Well, not to worry, we can sort that out together. Your assessment, right, it seems like it's about improving your conversational skills, yeah? So think of it as a bit of a chat where we get to know each other and you get to practice how to carry a conversation, make yourself more likable, and build up your social skills. So no pressure, just a friendly natter to see how you get on. How does that sound?
Sounds great. What do you want to talk about?
Brilliant. Well, how about we dive into something I'm quite keen on? Charles Dickens and his novel A Tale of Two Cities. Have you read it? It's a fascinating story, full of drama and history. If not, no worries, I can give you a bit of a rundown. What do you think?
I read it a long time ago when I was in high school. Can you give me a quick rundown?
Sure thing. So, A Tale of Two Cities is set during the turbulent times of the French Revolution. It's a story of love, sacrifice, and redemption, mainly following the lives of Charles Darnay and Sidney Carton. Now, Darnay is a French aristocrat, and Carton a British lawyer, and they look remarkably alike. Their fates intertwine as they get involved with a woman named Lucy Manette. And oh, there's loads more, but I don't want to spoil it for you if you're considering a reread. What do you recall about it?
I guess I recall the opening line. It was the best of times, it was the worst of times.
Spot on. That's one of the most memorable lines in literature, isn't it? It really sets the tone for the whole novel, capturing the contradictions and extremes of the era. Dickens had a knack for drawing readers in right from the start. Do you remember much else about the story, or has it mostly faded from memory?
I remember that the tragic hero at the end switched places in the executioner's spot, or the person to be executed spot. So as you can see, the AI can hold a very, very nice conversation with you. Let me see if I can stop this now, because I don't want to spend the whole video talking to the AI, even though it's a very fascinating conversation. I'm going to hit save and review, and now the student will see their transcript, everything the AI said, everything they said, and they'll get their spiderweb chart over here. And you can see I did well with respect. I could be a little bit more engaging, but I wasn't given much time. And I can click my full report. Now, the nice thing is everything that the student sees here will be submitted to you through your Ovation account on the back end of the website. So let's click on full report. All of this will be sent to you, the faculty member, through the back end of Ovation. We can see the students' quotes that the AI thought were most relevant and their critique, some tips for the student to do better, and some analytics on how the AI deems the student did in the conversation, which is very helpful. All right, so let's leave VR, go back to the Ovation backend, and take a look at what we see once the student has submitted their work. We'll see you there. All right, everyone, so now that the assignment is done, my students have done all their submissions, we're going to take a look at what we see on the other side of Ovation. So let's quickly sign in and scroll down to Organization, Assignments, and here is the assignments that have been completed and submitted by my students. Let's click on that. So we get a quick rundown on what the assignment was and all the people that have so far submitted it. So let's right click on it for options. We can either view report or remove assignment. So we don't want to remove an assignment, we want to look at it first. So let's view the report. Oops, there we go. Now, up here, as you can see, we transcript, factors, quotes, tips, analytics. Those are the same topics or the same headers that we saw inside of the VR app. So we're going to get the same information the student got. Let's take a look at analytics first. We get some percentages, so we can make an assessment of how the student did in the VR experience. We can see the same tips the students got. We can see the quotes that the students made. We can even read the entire thing, the entire transcript between the AI and the student. So if you want to know what the student and the AI were talking about, you can quickly see it here. But I really like the quotes because the AI just pulls out basically the most relevant things the student said, which I think is very, very helpful in grading. Plus, I really like the analytics to tell me how I did when I'm using Ovation and how students are doing as well. So guys, I hope you like this tour through Ovation. I hope you found it really helpful. If you did, slap that follow button, hit that like button, subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you in VR. Talk to you soon.